Hello, and welcome to another episode of Break the Cycle with me, your host, Joshua Smith. Thank you guys so much for starting the week off with Break the Cycle. I hope you will stick around for all the shows, but this is the show that you couldn't miss this week, I promise. Anyways, let's start off with some sponsors. Of course, we have Lorenzotti.coffee for all your delicious Italian coffee needs delivered directly to your door. Bring the taste of Italy home. Use BTC at checkout for a 10% discount. And my friend, my partner, coolest guy you know, toplobster.com for all your wonderful graphic design needs, where you can get this awesome Ron Paul for Congress shirt that I'm wearing tonight, or this great custom Break the Cycle pillow that you too can have on your couch during my couch streams. Use BTC at checkout for a 10% discount, or join the Patreon, the Subscribe Star, or become a member of the YouTube channel to get into the Discord server where he drops his designs up to 2 weeks before anybody in the general population sees them at like a 30% discount for supporters of the show. So really, if you're one of the smaller tier supporters, it pays for itself after a while. And of course, executive producers of the show, anthemplanning.com, for all your emergency and crisis planning needs. Check these people out today, see what they can do for your home, your business, or your personal life. They're doing God's work against the Antichrist. No, they're doing a job that the government sucks at, much cheaper and much more efficiently. Guys, we got a great show for you tonight. I'm very excited. I had the guy who lives in his shadow on the show in like the first couple weeks I was on the interwebs. But today he's a stand-up comedian. He's the king of the cocks, the lord of the sandwiches. He is the host of Run Your Mouth podcast and co-host of Part of the Problem with Dave Smith. He is Robbie the Fire Bernstein. How you doing today, sir?
I appreciate a man who actually gets all my titles correctly.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes I go on podcasts, they drop some of them, or they don't like quite give it the gusto. You sat down, you did your homework, you researched it, and you nailed the landing. So I appreciate the nice welcome, because I've left podcasts. Dude, I've gone, like people have hit me up, booked me 3 months out. They don't address me as King of the Cocks, Lord of the Sandwiches. I'm like, I'm getting the fuck out of here, dude. Where the fuck's the respect? I come on your podcast, I say that I'll guest on it. You don't even get my fucking titles right. Also, dude, at first I was like, why does this guy frame it where he's showing off pillows? But now I get it. I like the Top Lobster guy. He does some great work.
Yeah, it's the couch streams, man. That's what we call it, the Break the Cycle couch streams. So
you got to show off the whole couch.
You got to show off the couch. You got to make it look comfortable, inviting. You know, you want people.
Your couch is perfectly terrible size where it can't actually have 3 people.
Yeah. It's too. And I've had one person on the show. Well, I've had 2 in-person shows. I had my mom did a show in like the first month or so that we were doing shows, which was kind of cool. I like red-pilled my mom on the show, and then I also had
Was she just being nice though?
No,
sometimes moms will just, turn around and agree with you just because they don't want to make you look bad on your own show. I don't know. Maybe you got a nice mom. My mom's not that nice. She'll just tell you, my mom doesn't agree with me on anything.
Well, my mom, she said, I'm not really a libertarian. I'm a lovertarian. She's a hippie. She's an old school.
Your mom sucks. I just want you to know that. Just right up front. I almost vomited in my own mouth. Like, yeah, that's the whole point, is that I got better ideas for how to make other people's lives better. Great. Do well with all your love. See how that socialism does for you. I just want everyone to feel good about themselves. Yeah, so do I. It's not the way life works, you dumb fucking hippie bitch. I'm sorry. I don't actually know your mom.
My mom is in the chat right now.
Yeah, well, hi, Mom. I'm disappointed you didn't make brownies for the podcast. I feel like your son was having a guest on, and you could have been more welcoming.
You could have made.
From what I hear, you're a nice hippie lady, and keep doing you.
Yeah, she watches every show, man. She's like she's one of the premium members on YouTube and chills with everybody in the chat.
Your mom actually is supportive.
Yeah, she's actually like, it's funny because my mom is she was like pretty conservative for a long time, even though she was like a kind of a hippie, She's like a hippie conservative, but so that's where I think
Just because she didn't want you knowing she was banging people, dude.
Yeah, or that she was smoking pot for sure. That's the big one. I used to be like, what's that smell? You know, when I was a little kid, what's that smell? Is somebody smoking something in the house? But we already got two super chats. Lou von Mises piece said Fiverr for the king. Sorry, he is but a mere peasant. Almighty Beach $5. He said if stand up was an Olympic sport, would you medal?
No, I wish. Maybe I'll get there at some point, you know. But that is a very good question, and I would have to give an honest critique that no, there's people significantly better than me at the moment. You got Louis C.K. He's still alive. Got Doug Stanhope. He's still out there doing it. Got Dave Chappelle still out there doing it. You go into a club on a random night. Some people are just fucking killers that have been doing it for 40 years. So, but what's nice about stand-up, it's unlike the Olympics. It's not like you can just be 25 and then, you know, your body turns to shit. So who knows? Maybe when I'm 50, you know, I'll get there. But at the moment, no. But good question.
You're still a young guy.
Yeah, but I don't age that well. So we'll see. You know, 50 to 55. That's going to be my window.
Yeah, you know, there's some people that don't. Oh, look, my fiance dropped a $2 super chat. Says she loves me. I figured that's really nice.
Your family watches this. I'm performing for your family right now.
Yeah, just my family and the other, I don't know, 40 or 50 people in the chat right now. But so I know a question at least that my patrons really wanted to hear is like they want to know your backstory. Like, how'd you come to this libertarian thought? I mean, you're pretty libertarian. I know that there's been some of the libertarian ideas that maybe you weren't totally on board with, but what was it that, you know, what was it the issue that kind of drove you to that direction?
I would say there's there's been like a lot of things along the way that kind of, you know, I would say drew me to it. One of the biggest ones I would say, firstly, growing up, I was a big weed smoker. And when I was in high school, like it was like illegal. Like you could get in real trouble. Like we almost forget how much trouble you could get in for smoking weed.
Sure.
And so if you, like me, smoked weed in high school, you had a very early lesson that government's not your friend because you knew, hey, I'm not a criminal. I'm not hurting anybody. Like, sure, I'm an idiot and I don't like going to school and I like smoking weed, but this should not be an activity that the government can get me in trouble for. So I would say that's the first kind of piece of the puzzle is that, like, if you're smoking weed in high school, and I know that that's not like the most dignified answer, but I can just tell you, like, you just learn government's not my friend. Like, these are people that will put me in jail because I don't like life. And so I found this thing weed. And so I'm wasting my time smoking it. But these people are not my friends. I would say kind of the first introduction is just being a high school podhead and realizing they're not your friend. I would say the next thing is that I was kind of what you would call an old school New York Democrat, which is kind of fiscally conservative and socially liberal. And you start realizing that like that philosophy is actually not represented by either party. And so part of what like started kind of opened my mind up to the fact that libertarians even existed was Doug Stanhope, who if you've never gone through Doug's earlier catalog, he's got specials where he's got unbelievable jokes on liberty. He's got
amazing.
Yeah, he's the best to do it. And he's got 2 hours to 3 hours of content of just liberty oriented jokes that like I never heard a libertarian before. So that was definitely a piece of the, like, you know what I mean? Like they're like little notches as you go. So that was definitely a piece of it, was like even learning that libertarians existed. And then I would say the next thing is I do have like a finance background. And in college, kind of learning about credit asset bubbles and just kind of learning a little bit more about the way money works. So, and then later on, I found David Stockman's book, The Great Deformation, because I used to like reading the New York Times Sunday Review. I used to be I still am a fucking idiot, but like I used to drink a lot more and I was bored and I just kind of started reading Sunday Review because I was like, I just got to like read more. I feel like being miserable is your own stupidity in a way, because there could be good information out there that would like cure your own misery. You just have to actually sit down and, you know, read and like try and see if maybe there's information you don't have that would make you a happier person. So the Sunday Review is like an easy thing to read because it was just kind of like short academic essays on every topic. It was, I haven't read it in years, but it was interesting. And they quoted David Stockman's book, The Great Deformation. Have you ever read that, by the way?
I have not read that, no.
So it was interesting because they just started kind of talking about the financial apparatus that really empowers I'm going to use some Alex Jones language here, but the global elite. And instantly, the way that they were just describing money, I was like, you know what? That's kind of always the way I thought about this system. I've just never really seen it put into words. And so this is a funny story. I started reading David Stockman's book, The Great Deformation, and I knew Dave at this time. And Dave was always Mr. Smarty Pants at the comedy club. And he's always like, just kind of knows everything. He's talking about everything. And I was like, I'm going to show Dave. I'm smarter than this motherfucker. Look, I'm reading David Stockman's The Great Deformation. I showed it to him. I was showing off. I was like, Dave is going to be so impressed. This asshole thinks he's so smart. And I'm reading the bitter literature. And I showed him the book. And he's like, oh, yeah, I read that. That's a great book. I was like, you read this? I was like, how the fuck? You didn't fucking read this? No one else is reading this. I'm the only person in the world who sat down to read this giant fucking book. So anyways, me and David had already been friends. And I would say over time doing the podcast definitely, changed my opinions on certain topics. But I would say that's kind of the some of the stepping stones that have brought me here.
Sure. Do you have kids yet? Robbie, you don't have kids yet, right?
I mean, maybe. Like, I could have some floating out there. I've definitely nutted in some chicks when I was drunk and didn't wrap it up. I hope I got kids out there because, procreating, it's expensive, makes me nervous, but I think it's something you're supposed to do. So I really hope some people track me down when I'm 40 and, they know that I don't have any money for them, but they just want to be like, what's up? I'm your offspring. And I'll be like, oh, good. You're already like an adult. I don't have to deal with you. So I hope that I might have a couple floaters out there, and I hope they're living a good life and that they also find weed when they're in high school and, jerk off a lot. But I can't, not on the books. On the books, I'm kid free.
Sure. I was just going to say that, now that Dave's working on his second, you're going to have way more time to read than he does. So you're going to be able to pass him up. You know what I mean?
I don't know about that, Dave. No. Dave's a tier smarter than me, and sometimes I sit down and I try and read some of the literature. It's over my head. I did just pick up, and here's another problem. I get like really into books for the first 100 pages because that's the ADD of me. Like I'm like, this thing's gonna change my life, and then after the 100, I read 100 to 200. But like, I just kind of not really like I'm there. I'm reading it, but like I'm not there. I'm thinking about fucking space or whatever. I don't know, aliens. And so the answer is no. I'm not going to surpass Dave because he seems to actually, I don't know when he sits down to read, but he actually can like understand things. Like I know I'm the king of the cocks, but I can't understand Mises for the life of me, dude. I tried reading that book. Shit's way over my head. But I'm reading Capitalism right now by George Reisman, who I found in college, really changed my mind on a bunch of topics. And at least thus far, I'm loving it. And I'm trying to invest more time into reading. But at the end, I'm still a dumbass. So it's not that easy for me.
I feel like I'm the same. I'm the same. Dave's several tiers above me. There's no doubt about it. So I totally get it. There was a good story or a good question about Dave for you. Let's see. Does the phrase "here's the truth" make your insides hurt?
Does he say that a lot? I've never even noticed it.
Yeah,
so the answer is whoever's picking up on that one. I never picked up on they use that turn of phrase. So I guess no. I'm sorry. You're paying more attention on the podcast than I am. I didn't. When does he say that a lot?
I guess so. That's what my patrons were saying. I haven't noticed it either.
That sounds like fake news. I feel like I would have picked up on that. I don't feel like that's a overly used expression, but I don't know. Maybe.
Jacob Daniel from PA also wants to know why you give Dave all your good jokes.
I don't think I did. What are these people? This is fake news. When am I giving Dave my good jokes?
It's all my patrons. I don't know, man.
What the fuck are you talking about? I'm not giving Dave any jokes. I mean, Dave's a hilarious comedian. He's got his own shit. I don't give Dave any jokes. I don't know what you're talking about.
Let's see. Might be wrong. Dropped a $2 super chat. He said, you hanging with bar gates in Nashville.
What the fuck are your listeners talking about?
I don't know.
I don't know what is bar gates. I am excited to go to Nashville. Summer Port Store, dude, August 14th. That's going to be an absolute blast.
Yeah, where are you going? Where are you stopping for that?
So, I mean, I've never been to Nashville, so I'm definitely excited to kind of booze around that city and catch some live music. But friend of mine who's done the podcast, his name's CPU God, and he's like really good on the tech topics. He did a whole presentation on Run Your Mouth, really breaking down the COVID passports and how they were a really flagrant usage of the blockchain. And it was a really good analysis. We're going down there. He bought himself a farm to get out of Brooklyn. Like, he's really doing it. Like, the guy's doing it. You know what I mean? He looked at what was going on in New York City, and he's like, I'm getting out of here. He bought himself it's only 20 minutes out of Nashville, but I guess it's an unorganized territory, which are libertarian spaces without local government, which I'm not too familiar with how those work. But anyways, he's got 10 acres. He's got a farm. We're going to do stand up out there. We're going to do a live podcast, and if you're in the area, dude, summer porch tour. It's everyone should make the journey. It's like going where do the Muslims go? They go to Mecca once a year or whatever. So it's like that summer porch tour. You got to visit one porch. You don't have to go to every porch, but you got to do it once, and it changes people's lives. They're changed for life, for the better. Blind people can see now. Like we've made an impact, and I think it's important to visit at least one porch on the tour.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So I guess he clarified Bargatze.
Oh, Nate Bargatze.
Oh,
you know what? I wish I was friends enough with him to. I've been in the same room with Nate a couple times. Nate, if you're not familiar, absolutely hilarious comedian, and he's good friends with like Dave and Lewis, but he kind of was already out in New York by the time I had met Dave and Lewis. So I haven't really hung out with Nate. Like, I'm sure if he was getting up at a club through Dave, I could probably go see him, which I would. He's a hilarious comic. I'd love to see him live and a great joke writer, but I don't personally know Nate to hit him up and hang out with him.
Nice. Okay. Well, I don't know who he is at all, so maybe I need to.
You should check him out. Really great comic and clean, like odd cat, because he's doing it completely clean, and he's really funny.
Oh wow, nice. Not a lot of clean comics out there, man. That's not a normal thing anymore. Let's see, a couple more super chats. Level Zero said he's still pissed off Doug Stanhope didn't get the LP presidential nomination in 2008. Top Lobster, sure. That's like my tagline. That's what I say all the time. Top Lobster says Robbie's set at Porkfest was stronger than Dave's. Oh shit.
I'm gonna say that's fake news, but thank you that you appreciated it. Dave's a hilarious comedian, and everyone should go watch Libertas, because that is it's up there with Doug Stanhope in terms of, like, firstly, it's unbelievably funny, and it also really dives into the ideas of liberty. But Top Lobster, I love your artwork. I love the support. So thank you, but fake news.
Nick Ashley, $5 super chat. He says, I don't have a question. Just tell Robbie I hope he cures his AIDS.
Thank you. I'm working on it. I'm trying to take more cum in my asshole. That's what I figure. I figure that if the first batch of cum gave me the AIDS, there must be another batch of cum that can cure it. So I just try and take as much cum up my ass, and I hope that at some point it neutralizes the AIDS batch. I haven't found that yet, but I'm out there. I'm in the East Village. Sometimes I'll just bend over on a street corner and be like, hey, I'm looking for some more AIDS cum. That guy's plowed my asshole a couple times. So I'm doing everything I can to try and cure the AIDS. And once again, I appreciate the support. So thank you.
Really trying. He's really trying. He's giving it his all.
Yeah.
He's giving it his all. So let's talk about New York a little bit. I know you said you're not staying there anymore, but you do visit. I'm sure you're in the city quite a bit.
I'm in the city right now, dude. You can't have a warehouse space like this in Connecticut. That's what I do. I just migrate from warehouse spaces. I have my apartment set up like a warehouse. By the way, people give me shit. They're like, what the fuck's up with the way dude, that's a decorator. That's the way I like to live. I called the decorator. I'm like, can you put in a drop ceiling? Can you make this look like a warehouse? Same thing. This is my office. It used to be real. I was like, you guys got to make it look like, because I want to be blue collar. I'm actually like a middle-class Jew from Connecticut. I'm not blue collar whatsoever, but I'm trying to do everything I can to look like a real American. I've shaved my head. I do the prison workouts. I drink beers. I don't even like beers, dude. I just do it so that people think I'm like cool and shit. So yeah, I don't know why I'm rambling about this. What was the question?
Was there a question there? Oh no, we were going to talk about New York, and then I said you don't stay in New York all the time, but you visit quite a bit. And then you started talking about your Nike sweatshop.
Oh yeah, my warehouse. Yeah. This is my work warehouse. Absolutely. No, I'm in the city. I try to come in most days to pretend like I show up to work and do work, and then to do stand up. So I'm in the city a lot. Yeah.
I'm and we're getting some. Hold on, we're getting some bad Wi-Fi. I don't know if it's you or me, so I'm gonna pause all the kids doing all their stuff upstairs.
Oh, dude, I hope one of them is beating off right now and you ruin it. How old are your kids?
No, I have a 9-year-old boy, but he's not.
Nah, it should be young. Yeah, he shouldn't be beating off yet.
He's a little young. The rest of them are all girls, and they're not.
Do you have to like sit him down and be like, listen, at some point you're gonna do a lot of beating off, and it's only natural, but like you're too young to be beating off right now. So like, hold it on the beating off.
I don't know how to have that conversation, man. My boy, I have one son that lives with me that's like 6 months old, so I have a long time to go. And then I have one son that we basically adopted back in October. That's not mine biologically. That's 9, and so I don't really know. I don't know how to go about that conversation.
You're not there yet.
I'm not there. Thankfully, I'm not there yet. But
I asked, what's the like foster care rescue. It's like a rescue dog, but a kid. You know what's nice about those is that you love them, but like if they fuck up, it's not like it's like the rescue dog. You were just helping them out. Like when it's your offspring and you bring them into the world. Like I'm lucky enough not to know my offspring, so I don't have to like worry. But it's like that's your responsibility when it's a rescue.
Yeah, it's like,
you know what I mean? It's like having a kid, but you get to like it's not as much pressure.
Yeah, it's like the Dane Cook joke. I tried my best. I really did. I gave him my all, and then just send him back. No, I wouldn't do that to him. They're actually my 16-year-old daughters. 2 of them are my 16-year-old daughters' siblings from my ex-wife. And so they're not mine biologically, but they were going to go to foster care. We were able to get custody of them. So
that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
I mean, the white trash backstory I didn't compute it, but what you're doing sounds very noble. So God bless.
Thank you very much, man. So, anyways, let's talk about Cuomo because he said today that they're going to have to start going door to door and getting people in cars and taking them to get the vaccine. That sounds a little like kidnapping to me. What about you, man?
Well, you see, Cuomo, you got to understand what's going on here. This guy, he just got away with all the sexual assault. There were all the fucking claims, and somehow he got past it. Then, right, the DA is so busy investigating every single person that Donald Trump has ever shaken hands with that they're like, you know what? We don't even care if this governor killed people in old age homes. We don't have to look into this. Go look up that news story earlier this week. At least I saw the headline. DA or whoever the fuck would investigate him. They're not looking into the old age home thing. They're like, whatever, dude. It was a pandemic. He killed some old people. So now he's feeling really good about himself. Are you kidding me? As a governor authoritarian, he just got away with raping women or sexually assaulting women and killing old people. So now he wants to feel his power. You know what I mean? Like he's a fucking governor. And think about what he just got away with. He got away with killing old people. They're not even going to investigate him. So he's like, you know what? Because they're in the game of power, so you might as well see how far you can take it. And pulling people out of their own homes, shoving them into vans, and then giving them experimental vaccines, that's probably fun for him to watch. I bet now that he's trying not to rape as much, he'll probably jerk off to that footage. That'll probably be the thing that, helps him go to sleep at night. So I get why he's doing it. Like, it's just the natural progression from being governor who gets away from killing old people. It's only a matter of time before you're going to start kidnapping people and shoving vaccines in their arms.
Yeah, I do wonder if he'll get another Emmy for that, Who knows?
Oh, I bet if he filmed it, that's more interesting than a press conference.
Especially from him, for sure. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
The van almost seems unnecessary. The van is like just to make it like rapier, because that's his thing,
Sure.
He was like thinking, I like wearing Emmys, I know television, I know rape, so let's get a van involved. The truth is, if you're actually going to vaccine them, can't you just do it at their house? Just kick in their door and fucking vax them. You don't really, there's really no reason for the van other than just to be creepier about it. And that's what's going to get him the Emmy is the van.
Sure. Yeah. Well, so here's the thing. I mean, a lot of these states are like just giving things away to go get the vaccine. They're like, here, we're going to give you a lottery. We're going to give
I'm working on a joke about that, dude.
All right.
I got 2 angles on it. The first angle, and this one's funny, was the first time I heard that announcement was I was in Grand Central and they offered free train tickets. And I was like, who was like, I don't want an experimental vaccine, but I did always want to ride the train. You know what I mean? Like, who is that convincing?
The subway in New York? Yeah.
Yeah, like, who is like, I mean, it's a $15 train ticket. No, it wasn't even the subway. It was Metro North. And then my other angle on it is like, the vaccine's supposed to save you, right? And it's already free. So like this is suspiciously free. I feel like that's like if you were bribing a kid that if he ate his dessert, he'd get more dessert. You're like, something doesn't add up here. Like, he's already eating chocolate cake. You don't have to offer him ice cream for more chocolate. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's already fucking free. What is going on here that you're offering free stuff in order to take the thing that's good? You know what I mean? Like, something's not adding up. Something's fishy about that.
Sure. Yeah, I don't know. What if it was like free sandwiches every day for a year though?
No, I'm not touching this vaccine. I'm not touching this vaccine, but it's 2 factors. One is at some point they push hard enough where you're like, just to feel like a free individual, like, no, like I just got to draw the line somewhere. And on top of that, like, I mean, I can go, I've done hours of content on Run Your Mouth of anti-vaccine talk. But the most recent thoughts just floating around in my head about it is that I can just tell that they're lying to us. The fact that they're now saying that 12-year-olds need to get it is just not true. 12-year-olds should not be getting this. That's a dangerous decision. And so if I know that they're lying about that, like, I mean, what exactly is the extent that they're lying to us about it? What are the ramifications? I can't tell you for sure. I just know that they're lying. The most recent lie is with the Delta variant that they're not even tracking. Here's a crazy stat. So they're not tracking, they're only tracking serious illness. Now, I just had corona. I literally just had corona. Last week I had corona. I was on my ass for 2 weeks. Now, I didn't take a call with any government officials. I didn't check myself into the hospital. So technically speaking, there would be no data to say that I was severely ill. That wouldn't exist. So how many people, because they're not tracking the stat, how many people that got these vaccines are now falling victim to the Delta variant, right? They're also not tracking, like, is the Delta variant something that is more highly transmittable, but just less people are dying from? Like, here's the stat that they should have. In hospitals, right, people that are being hospitalized for coronas, there are a significant uptick in individuals that haven't been vaccinated, because their claim is basically that people would be more sick if they hadn't been vaccinated. But how do you quantify that? Right. And they always lied about the utility of the thing, because they were talking about, hey, it's 95% effective, which was pricing in your natural immunity. So I'm just telling you, the topic will get boring. I got 40 more talking points on this. I can just tell you that they're lying to you about the efficiency of the thing. So I personally wouldn't touch it. I think you're putting risk on your plate by touching it. I know that they're lying to us. They're not just lying to us. I mean, like, you look at Fauci's ties to the medical industry. Oh. You're talking about, like, the most sophisticated players in the game. And then on top of that, when they start pressing on you, like, you can't work I don't know. At some point, it's like you want to, I don't know, even like there's element, like, all right, I love like a bran muffin, I eat a lot of like Lenny's and Larry's cookies. There's no way those are healthy. They're fucking cookies, but they lie to me. And I feel like I'm being healthy when I eat it, right? That's kind of like the illusion of freedom, that, like, to some extent you just want to feel like a free individual. When you got some product that you haven't proven to me is good, it seems like it carries risk, doesn't seem like, I know 3 people that were vaccinated that have now gotten the same coronavirus as me and were as sick as I was. I don't think there's a utility to this thing. I think you're putting unnecessary risk on your plate, unless you're, like, fat and old. If you're fat and old, that's a different conversation. Go talk to your doctor, probably work on not being fat and old. But if you're fat and old, maybe you want to get these vaccines because, you're fat and old. And so horrible things might happen to you. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is I would press significantly hard against taking it in any capacity, just in part because I am a little contrarian. They're telling you have to do it. What would change my mind is if somebody gave me a signed document that said that they were going to take the risk upon themselves for any financial damages that might come from having taken this vaccine. So if I worked for a corporation and they told me, like, you're going to be fired unless you get this, and I say, fine. So if you say that this is healthy and you say that there's no risk involved, great. So here's a document. And if you sign this, that you will pay for any medical damages that might occur as a result of taking this. Like, you say that this is safe. So if you're willing to take the risk, you're saying there's no risk. You should have no problem signing this document because you feel that it's risk-free. But don't tell me that it's risk-free, but I have to take the risk. So that would be the condition that I would take it in, because I figure I'm going to get Alzheimer's anyway. So if I can blame it on the virus and make some money on the backside, it's probably a good idea. I'm a Jew. I think about these things. Let's fucking sue people. No, I mean, honestly, that's what would get me to take the vaccine. Is if you're telling me it's risk-free, then you should have no problem presuming that risk. Don't tell me it's risk-free and I have to take the risk. You see what I'm saying? It's like, if you really feel that it's risk-free, if you really do feel that way and you feel that it's beneficial for society to get it, then you can take the risk. And I don't know, well, let's have a lawyer draw up the document that says any health consequences that exist down the line as a result of taking this, you'll compensate me for.
Yeah, I agree. And something that's really been like kind of weighing heavy on me, they're talking about this Delta variant and how it's spreading all over and everyone's getting the Delta variant. It's making people much sicker, but it's like, is there a separate test for the Delta variant? Is that something that I don't think there is.
You know what's odd? I mean, I just got sick with corona and I was almost annoyed that they didn't give me, they must on their lab reports be able to recognize it, but they don't tell you. I mean, it would have been helpful to know. Excuse me, I still have a cough from corona.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, a lot of people. Well, and here's the other thing. Like, almost everybody that I know that has been getting COVID in the last, I don't know, month has been vaccinated. Almost every single person that I know, every single one. All my friends that aren't it was always weird to me through the whole thing how all my friends that didn't mask, didn't stay home, kept doing everything, never got coronavirus, or they just never had like a serious illness that they thought they had coronavirus. And now that they're rolling out all these vaccines, everyone I know that's getting it has had the vaccine. It just really is. It has always been so weird and made no sense to me whatsoever. Because they tell you these first it was these vaccines work, you can't get COVID with the vaccines. Now it's, well, they just keep you from getting severely ill, but that's not the truth either. I know people who've been on their ass for 2 weeks that have already been vaccinated that got coronavirus and were severely ill, so
you got to fact check me on this, please. I read everything, I drink, and I'm really stupid. There was a Week magazine article that I saw earlier in the week and I tweeted about where they said that there's been 1,000 deaths of people that have been vaccinated. That strikes me like a really high number for the Delta variant only being around for a month. It just strikes me like, here's the problem. They're not tracking things in a way where you can make an intellectual decision about risk versus reward. The best example of that, there was an article, go look it up, Wall Street Journal, John Hopkins, doctor who is pro the vaccines, was talking about that any medical journal in the country, as they're talking about that some kids have died as a result of coronavirus, right? But they never quantified that they actually died from having the coronavirus and not from other causes. And so he was saying that any medical journal in the country would not accept these numbers as being children death as a result of the coronavirus. And so prescribing them the vaccine based on these numbers medically is reckless. Go look up that Wall Street Journal article. Maybe I'm not representing it in the best possible way. The point is the CDC, though, is purposely not tracking things in a way where you can make like informative decisions about this. Same as I was saying that they're not tracking people that are getting sick from this but not getting like severely ill. And on the same note, the 1,000 people that have died I got that number from the week. Maybe I read that article wrong. 1,000 people have died so far that have already been vaccinated. Like, what age categories? These are like crucial questions. Are we talking about people with pre-existing conditions? Which vaccines did they take? Is there a vaccine that is particularly bad for the Delta variant? Like, these are just critical questions that, like, if you were actually interested in saving people, you would ask. But very clearly to me, they're not tracking the important figures. They're lying to you, and they're trying to push a product. That's just my takeaway.
Yeah, the whole thing's been really strange to me, definitely. And if you go on the VAERS website where they report these vaccine injuries, and then if you bring up the data from that website, which is, by the way, run by the CDC, if you bring up the data from that website, everybody would be like, well, there's no like way to quantify that those are from that vaccine and this and that. It's like there's thousands of deaths on there, thousands already from the vaccines. Those are people reporting that they got the vaccine and then died. You know what I mean? Like, that's still pretty terrifying to me, at least. A guy who has probably already had COVID and is not terrified of COVID. You know what I mean? Like, and most people aren't. Now, it could probably kill me. I'm kind of overweight, but I'd rather take my chances than getting some experimental thing. Almighty Beach, thanks for the $5 shout out. He said, Robbie the Fire King of the Cox needs to wear a tinfoil hat so his 5G aids get better signal for us plebs. Oh, because you're...
Not a bad idea. Yeah, hey, man, hit me up. RobsNewsroom@gmail.com. If you got a tinfoil hat, send them my way.
Yeah, your video's choppy. Your audio sounds great, though. Definitely. I don't know.
Oh, it's the AIDS.
Someone's downloading
computers
porn
and technology.
Someone's downloading porn over there for sure. Might be wrong, gave another $2 super chat. He said, why hasn't he gotten any YouTube strikes due to the Kovacs yet?
I did. I have. I got one.
Did you?
Yeah, they pulled an episode. I don't remember. That's a problem. It was already like 2 months ago. I was really upset about it because I even hit them up and said, hey, guys, like, here's what they did. They pulled the episode. They wouldn't tell me specifically what I said that was flagrant. I said, can you please tell me, like, specifically what was said? And I was like, and I said, I have the following information here. I was like, I was pulling from the following articles and I was only asking questions. So I don't understand why they should be pulled. And they just said, no, you have a strike. But thus far, it's only one. So, my account's still active. Go check it out. Robbie the Fire, all one word.
And well, yeah, that's cool, man. At least they didn't kick you off completely. I know some people who have just gotten thrown completely off, and like I got friends who were making a lot of money on YouTube and stuff, and now
that sucks.
It's all gone, dude. Like I get pretty worried about it too. But all my shit's backed up at Odyssey, So I'm not super worried. In fact, if you guys watch this show, go follow me at Odyssey too, but definitely smash that subscribe button here as well. Let's get back into the comedy thing, man. So what's been your favorite experience during your tenure as a comedian?
Ooh, oh God, I gotta think about that. I mean, here's the honest answer. I've got wild ADD, and so it's like whatever's new is kind of what I like, you know. So it's an ongoing thing, but just discovering new jokes and having them work, that's the thrill of the game. So it's not so much like I honestly I haven't really hit any like really big milestones or benchmarks that I can point to and say, hey, that was performing for 4 people and bringing your new jokes and having them work is as much as a thrill as performing for like 900 people and having them all applaud and like love what you're doing. Which I actually PorkFest is really the only time I've ever played for that big of a crowd. It's really just the process. It's like sitting at home thinking I found funny and then like running the experiment. And so I would say that's it. It's just it's been the same thing since day one. It's trying to find funny. It's the working on it, the crafting on it, and hopefully you get the opportunity in the stage time to actually work on it, and then like people laugh, and that's it. It's I don't know. It's like to me it's like a spiritual journey just to try and get funnier. So the process.
What did you do in the absence of stage time over COVID, man? Did you find any new ways to work around that at all?
Yeah, I gotta be honest, I'm still not getting up as much as I'd like to in New York City. I hope. I mean, I can tell you every joke that I have that really works, it took me a month. Like start to finish, it took me a month, and it really does take getting up on stage and like reworking things. And even some of like the stuff I've put out recently, which I'm proud of, like I if I had more reps, it would have been better. I can tell you every joke like if you see me like in a club setting and I do like 20 minutes and like I have some shit that's fucking like punchy and it's like joke, like working. That never happens on the first try. Like never. I can tell you it's like a magic trick where it's like you figure out the one word, then you figure out the next word. And it's like people don't see that process. They just think like you're fucking funny, but it's like it's a magic trick. You worked it out. You worked out So for me, it takes every single night over the course of a month to like figure something out start to finish. With that being said, I spend a lot more time now just kind of like I'm not good. I got this little spot by my apartment, and like I pace around. I've talked about the geese that try and fuck up my joke writing and attack me. But I think I've become better at just like crafting material with no audience, and I think you can see that on if you're a fan of the Run Your Mouth podcast, because I'm like just putting up more of the jokes over there. So the answer is it's a constant process. I do not get as much stage time as I'd like, but now I spend a lot more time just trying to like hone the shit at home, working it out on the podcast, and then trying to bring it to stages. And I'm hoping that over time, maybe I fucking figure out the formula to just bypassing that process of like getting in front of an audience. But I don't know if that's I don't know if that's possible. We're going to find out.
Yeah.
That's the journey, dude. That's what I'm describing. That's what makes it so fun. It's an endlessly hard game. It's like you never quite have it beat.
Yeah. I wonder like of music, stand-up comedy, and the restaurant business, like which ones took the hardest hit during COVID? You know what I mean? It's horrible.
Yeah, I mean, I feel what's at least nice to me with my stand-up business is, I mean, I don't draw my life income from it, which is nice. For me at the moment, that actually makes me funnier because it's like when I show up, it's not. I'm having fun because I'm there because I love doing it, which creates like a very different vibe. For me, it works for me. Restaurants suck because I mean, dude, I have a significant investment in my time and my lifestyle. I mean, I don't have kids. Like I really am living a stand-up lifestyle where I'm trying to make this work. Like, I mean, I've really invested my life into it, and it's not where I want it to be yet, but it will get there. And I have time on my side. If you're a restaurant, dude, I mean, you've made the financial investment, right? And the government just shut down your business. And like, you're not like me. You don't have I have a lean cost structure. There's nothing like you can shut down my business for 2 years. And then all of a sudden, like I'm still here. I'm not going anywhere. It's like, it's more of a like mental commitment where I'm not going to pick up other hobbies. It's what I'm doing. You know what I mean? So it's like, you kind of you can't squash me. You can't. You can try. I'm not going anywhere. I'm a fucking cockroach of comedy, dude. I'm going nowhere. Never. I'm doing it forever. But if you're a restaurant, like like you can't carry the overhead like that. You got your bills coming in. You know what I mean? So I almost feel I've said this on the podcast. This is a pressing thought. I don't want to bum out the listeners too much, but I think you'll agree with me on this. I feel bad because it's kind of like divide and conquer, where the government's really fucked over some people really bad. And even myself, because I work in sales and I could work completely remotely, I'm lucky. They didn't affect my business whatsoever. Government, and by the way, that's not entirely all luck. I remember years ago kind of reading about, if you look at where the world is going, it's going to be engineers and people who can sell their products, and basically every other industry is going to be gutted by technology. And I was like, okay, I'm not an engineer, so I'm going to work sales. So it's not, you know what I mean? It's not like the investments I made with my time are not like entirely random. But there's something very sad to me that everyone who is in a safe or protected industry, such as myself, we didn't really get the backs of the people that were completely fucked by this, which is, I'm not saying I didn't do anything. It's not like I went to protest, hey, let us into restaurants. You know what I mean? None of us did. We all just kind of were like, oh shit, we're lucky. Government didn't shut down the fact, like they didn't tell me I can't podcast from home. I'm okay. And I think the sad reality is that they can continuously divide and conquer and take out industries, and everyone's like, oh shit. You ever play Gaga as a kid? Remember that game?
What, Galaga?
No, Gaga. No, maybe that's just a fucking Jew game. Dude, Gaga was like, you'd hit the ball, right? And if you hit the guy's foot, he's out. That's the whole game. Oh, dude, it's actually a pretty fun game. I was pretty good at it, but I was good at it by being weaselly, where the way you won that game, if you ever end up in some Gaga tournament, write this down right now. A lot of people, they like getting in on the action. They like being where the ball is because that's exciting, right? But the closer you are to the ball, the more likely it is to hit your foot. So the real strategy is you got to stay the fuck away from that ball, right? And then eventually, once everyone gets thinned out, that's when you get active, and then you don't get hit by like a random spike, whereas it just like takes a bounce and you are in on the action. So you got to like stay. I feel like that's kind of the way government is, where like it wrecks businesses, but we all kind of realize like, oh shit, I better just stick away from this thing. As long as I stick away from it, I'll be safe. So I know this was a long-winded answer. You see, when Dave doesn't cut me off, I'll fucking rant, and I don't shut the fuck up either. I think that something really sad about what happened with the restaurant industry, that it's not like we got their backs. People were just like, okay, I'm lucky. And even the employees were like, I'm lucky, I'm getting my check. I'm lucky, I'm lean and mean structure. I'm not going anywhere. I make my money elsewhere. You can't take comedy out of my life. But restaurants, I mean, they were definitely fucked the most. And I think there's something sad about the fact that we all just kind of let it happen.
Sure. Yeah. It's funny because when COVID hit, it was obviously before we had all the kids. We just had like 2 and 1 on the way in the house. I specifically, because they had shut down some restaurants so they could only do like takeout. And so like I specifically was eating out with my family as much as possible to try and support the restaurants. But then there's people like Chef Gruel. Are you familiar with Chef Gruel from California? The guy who he like started this fund to help all these restaurants that had been shut down in California. He raised, I don't know, like $1 million or something for restaurants in the LA County area. And so, I mean, there was people out there that did what they could. It wasn't like a lot of us could do much. I mean, we could have protested. We probably should have protested a lot more, you know, and I got really excited in the beginning of this thing when like those protests started in Michigan and shit. I was like, oh man, people are going to stand up. And then everybody just kind of went home and was like, all right, well, I guess this is what we're going to fucking do now. And just sit at home and watch Netflix and get fat for the next year. But I think a lot of us also were kind of under the mindset. It was like, okay, well, 15 days. 3 weeks. Okay. Okay. Just 30 days. It just kept pushing it out until finally you're like, holy shit, it's been a fucking year. Now it's been 16 months. There's some states that are still locked down after, 16 months, 17 months. And, it's, I think now's the time probably where some of us should be like, okay, enough is a fucking enough. They're talking about locking California down. New York's probably going to get locked down again, I'm sure. And then we have all the states that didn't lock down that are doing great, like Florida and North Dakota and South Dakota. And here where I live in Iowa, they shut down briefly. We opened right back up. The mask mandate was bullshit. They never really mandated it. No fines or anything like that. So a lot of people went about living their lives, and we're doing great. I think the other day we had like 33 new cases in the whole state, but then you have places that lock down really badly, like California and New York, that are having these huge spikes again. And I said it earlier, and I'm gonna say it again. Look, There's a reason why those states that kind of like let it happen are doing better. It's called natural immunity. And the CDC used to list it as a great way to get herd immunity during a pandemic or some other kind of endemic thing. And they took it off. They took it off the CDC website when they started pushing the COVID vaccine and said, this is the only way to get herd immunity is through this vaccine.
This is creepy, but I heard this from Gene Epstein, who's got a friend who's like actually a doctor in I don't know, what's the fancy category for like these what do they call them?
Virologists.
The doctors, whatever the fuck the smart people are.
Yeah, super smart.
So, I mean, if you look at this from the outset, firstly, they talk about the vaccines. I would think that I would just think a diversification of immunity would probably be the most helpful, as the vaccines aren't necessarily working for the variants. You would think like a mixture of natural immunity and the vaccines would probably help. According to at least what I understand from Gene's a really smart guy. You probably should hear this information from directly. The lockdowns and the stalling of us getting from herd immunity is actually what gave the virus the opportunity to mutate. Sure. And so we're actually... our failure in thinking, hey, we can control this, and that was really government's doing of saying, hey, we got to lock down, is what allowed for these we've allowed the virus to actually progress in a worse way that would not be the natural course. I think you're right. If from the outset of this thing we said, hey, people in risk categories, you have to stay home, or we're recommending that you stay home because this is deadly, and people like me and young people are out about and doing their thing, I think you're right. You'd have the herd immunity. We would have taken this thing on. And it's almost crazy. Like, if you remember the fucking America of like it would have been like, guys, we're fucking America and we got to work, and we're about freedom and we're about getting through things. And we understand that there's a virus, but there's nothing more American than fucking showing up for work and not saying, hey, we're going to socialize the country and stay home. Like, that's not what we're about. That's not the country anymore. You know what I mean? Like, you almost like, sometimes you hear like the perspective of people, you're like, whining is just acceptable now. I mean, I guess I'm a whiny Jew. I fucking complain a lot, but you know what I mean? Like, socially, it's like it used to be like, just don't fucking complain. Be a man, take it on your chin. Like, we live with a different culture than what you and I grew up with. And that transcends race. You know what I mean? There's just like a different, and it's crazy to me to think about that. We weren't just like, no, this is fucking America. We're free and we're going to work. And I think you're right that it was a losing strategy. But now all of a sudden they're talking about herd immunity again, where people like me that haven't gotten the vaccines are what's allowing for these mutations and putting everybody else at risk, which is, once again, another unquantified thing. And you wouldn't have research to support it. But that's their newest talking point, is that we would have herd immunity if everyone was actually getting these vaccines. And it's as a result of the people who are unvaccinated that the virus is finding people that it can infect, spread, and mutate. And I'm sure, I'm not a scientist, but I'm sure that there's not good data to support that. But that's the newest talking point.
Well, we didn't start getting any variants until they started rolling out the vaccines, which I've always thought was pretty hilarious too. Like,
yeah, but I don't know if that's an accurate correlation, because the vaccines, the variants probably might have came out of countries where there was not heavy vaccination rates.
I mean, maybe, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, listen, it's anyone's
India
guess.
said they
That's
had administered 2 million vaccines already when Delta started coming out, which came from India.
Right.
Said, right. So I don't know. It just really blows my mind. The whole thing, there's no way to quantify any of it, really. And the media is always lying to us about fucking everything. They're the enemy of the people, 100%. You know, we know that they lie to us about the littlest shit to the biggest shit all the time. So you never know what to take as fact anyways. You know, I don't know. It's fucking crazy. Mindy Vaughn threw a $5 super chat. She says she thinks they just stopped using the PCR test because the flu and COVID were both coming back positive. That's why there was no flu. And that was something that was another thing. The PCR test was always kind of iffy for everybody, I think. I don't know.
No, I think that's definitely true. That I've seen these floating headlines. It's not one of the topics I've really researched, but it does seem like when the vaccines came out, they made some changes so that there would be less positive cases, so that they could report that the vaccines were working. But that's conspiracy talk, not something I really researched to validate. But I definitely saw floating headlines about that they were changing the way the PCR tests were being, I don't want to say administered, but I guess the way that they were viewing the results to try and create less cases. But you got that one I'm iffy on. But there were definitely headlines I saw along those lines.
Sure. Sure. So let's get back to sure. I got now that everybody makes fun of me for saying sure all the time, like it's all I ever hear myself say. It's fucked up.
Don't listen to these motherfuckers, dude. You got a supportive mom. You got 12 adopted kids. They're all listening and relying on you. You do you, man.
Yeah, this is our second revenue stream, man. This is how we support the family on top of my job and all the other shit that I do. But let's get back to the comedy thing a little bit. Who's your biggest influences, man? You talk a lot about Stanhope. I fucking love Doug Stanhope. He's like one of my favorite comedians ever. But what are some other big influences for you?
I mean, Stan. I love Stanhope. Louis C.K.'s up there. Greg Giraldo's up there. Patrice O'Neal is up there. Nick DiPaolo's up there. I would say those are the guys that I found early in comedy and really fell in love with. And then I had the opportunity of seeing a lot of people work live in New York. Dave's one of those guys. I mean, Dave, dude, when we were back in the LOL days, which was just a club of the worst audiences and the most random people. And for one, the fact that Dave was able to take those libertarian topics and get random people to laugh at them was incredible. But he also just had new material every week of like whatever was going on in the news. So, I mean, from the amount of time I spent on the podcast and hanging out with him, I mean, he's definitely influenced my perspective and comedy. And then I'm trying to think who else I've just seen like live in New York. And I don't know, it's kind of like a balancing act. I try not to watch that much comedy because you try not to like take from other people or like absorb too much. But I mean, the people who I found early and just fell in love with, it's that list. It's Louis C.K., Greg Giraldo, Nick DiPaolo, Doug Stanhope.
Do you also jerk off in front of random people with permission, of course?
If I had his dick, maybe I would, or if I had his power in the comedy. I really haven't had all that many opportunities where I could be like, hey, I'm taking this thing out and I'm just going to jerk off and, you do you. And I feel like you must have had enough sex in your life where you're like, you know what, let's mix this up. So I'm like, Jesus Christ, there's a vagina and you might have sex with me. Like, I don't know. I'm still, I didn't grow up having girlfriends or anything. So I'm very vanilla with my sex. So no, I haven't jerked off in front of anybody yet, but who knows, dude? Maybe I'll become funny enough where I can get away with that too.
Sure. Almighty Beach, thanks for the super chat. He said, how many hours do you craft your material for 1 hour's worth of stand-up?
I don't even have an hour. That's the honest. I mean, dude, putting together an hour. I mean, here are the numbers. I might do an end of, if you listen to Run Your Mouth, which I run a lot of jokes on, I would say it might be a 50-to-1 ratio of a joke I tell on my podcast that I would even try on stage. It takes time. I don't know. What was the question again? How much time?
how many hours do you craft your material for 1 hour worth of stand-up? He's asking you to do math, is what he's doing. I've
been doing comedy 11 years. I don't even have an hour. Here's your answer. At best, if I got up every single night, which I don't, I'm telling you, if I was like working clubs and I got up every single night, I could probably craft an hour a year, and it would be at most 3 to 5 minutes a month, and it would take me every month. I think if I got up every single night, which I'm not, and half of the battle is figuring out how to get up every single night, I could probably create 3 minutes a month. So what's that? I don't know, 12 months? That's not even. So it'd be 2 or 3 years at best. I'm saying if I worked my ass off and had the opportunity to get up every night, it would take 3 years to put together an hour. That was good.
That's wild. Might be wrong. Another $2 super chat. He says, is Nick DiPaolo triggering to a lot of New York comics?
Well, I mean, Nick, listen, Nick's I've seen Nick take some hilarious bombs in New York City. If I'm just being like, I mean, like I once saw him slap a bald dude on the head and just be like, Jesus Christ, this is almost, what was his line? It was something to do with Sloan Kettering, but it's like, this is as depressing as Sloan Kettering over here. Just like slap the bald guy. It's the only time in my life. I don't remember the exact line. I literally fell out of my chair laughing. I've never had that experience. I fell out of my chair laughing. I saw him years ago at the Comedy Cellar. And this might be 9 or 10 years ago. And I mean, he was just murdering. And at one point he referred to, what's his name? The mayor, which was Bloomberg at the time, is a gay Jew, and I just lost it. I was just like, that's the funniest thing. I never realized how gay Bloomberg was until he said it. And then I always love when people just refer to people as Jews. Like, you ever see Casino, that scene in the desert when he goes, "You fucking Jew motherfucker, you." I remember the first time I saw it. Anyways, what was the question? Sorry,
Pesci's a savage. He was just asking, is Nick DiPaolo triggering to a lot of New York comics?
I'm sure. Yeah, I mean, not that I hang out on mics that much, but I'm sure with the culture now, a lot of people would object to him, but he's one of the best to ever do it. And if he chose to work out in New York City clubs, he would still kill.
Sure, absolutely. I have another comedian. I'm starting the whole week off with two comedians. I have Chrissy Mayer coming on tomorrow. Are you familiar?
She's great.
Yeah, she's great. Do you think she's as funny as a man? That's what we're going to suss out tomorrow. That's the whole thing. I told her we're going to find out if you're as funny as a man tomorrow.
That's great. Chrissy's really funny. I haven't seen her stand up in a while, but I mean, she's really funny. She kills. So
no, I love her.
I don't know.
To death. I think it'll be fun. She's great, and I'm excited to have her on. And it's we need more libertarian comics, man. Like all the time.
I agree. Yeah, and she's got a unique perspective. I don't know if she's like fully libertarian, but anyone that's just like willing to question the system, and that's the guy who I'm trying to get rid of the AIDS with. Anyone who's like just willing, like open to our perspective and doesn't think we're just evil for having a different perspective and has original material, I got all the respect in the world for that.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, hey, we're getting close to the end of the public chat. I guess I didn't tell you that I usually do like a 15-minute exclusive chat after this, if that's all right with you.
I'm down. I'm having fun, drinking my beers. Let's do it.
Well, in the exclusive chats where you can really let loose and say whatever the fuck you want, because
because I haven't said crazy shit already. Sure. Thank you for the opportunity.
YouTube doesn't moderate the members only chats too much, which is kind of cool. So,
but this one live though, right? You can't edit me.
No,
right?
This is live. I don't edit.
Dude, I've done podcasts and I hate this where like I spent like 40 minutes of gold and they're like, okay, we're gonna start. I was like, start. I just did 40 minutes. I was fucking funny. They're like, oh, I can't use any of that. It's like, well then why the fuck was I here, dude?
No, I definitely do not edit my podcast.
Dude, why do you wear hats? You got great head of hair. What
nice.
are you doing?
I know it's nice. I know. It's just getting a little long. What? I need a haircut. I'm getting like emo going on here, so you
got to show that shit off, dude.
Oh man,
I'm a nasty ball guy. I don't have a fucking choice.
Yeah.
I keep this hat on. It's like makeup. I look 10 years younger, but you're crushing it. Why are you doing a Hitler comb over? You got good hair. You could be doing anything with that.
So for a long time. So here's the thing. I got alopecia several years ago, out of the blue.
That's just a fancy word for balding, right?
Well, no, it's like an autoimmune thing, and I like lost my hair in patches all over, like it's all over the back and all over the top. And so,
how'd you get it back? What, do you blow Satan?
Yeah, I had to blow a lot of people to get it back. No, I used to do that high fade forward in the front and up, kind of spiky in the front. Did that for years, and then when it started falling out in spots, I was like, shit, I need to cover some of these somehow, So I started doing like the hard part, like comb over, like they call it the Hitler Youth haircut, I guess. I don't know. Everybody's like, oh, you're an alt-right guy now for this haircut. And I'm like, it's a fucking haircut. Shut up. So I started doing that, and then I got into politics a lot. I started running for chair of the party twice, and I was traveling all over the country, speaking behind Ron Paul at conventions and shit. And so like I kept that hair because it was a little more professional than the like forward spiky in the front. And just recently I went back to the old high fade with the spiky in the front. In fact, I had a mullet first. I had a mullet for a while, and then I cut the mullet off and started doing that. And then it just started getting long because I haven't got a haircut in a while, and so I've been wearing.
How'd you fill in the patches though? It doesn't look like you got patches.
It came back, dude. Like all my hair came. I don't know if it was like caused by stress or something, but there was like 2 years where it was just all falling out in patches, and then the patches would start off as little spots and they'd turn into like quarter size, and then they'd grow back platinum blonde, dude. Like brand new baby hair. And then I had like these blonde streaks for a long time, and then my hair just all came back and never fell out again. I mean, I still have a little spots here and there occasionally, but nothing like it. It was bad, real bad.
Dude, that's fucking weird, dude.
Yeah, well, I found out that there was this big mass lawsuit against the Department of Defense for the anthrax vaccine, which I took when I was in the military. And that it had caused a bunch of autoimmune shit with like vets, and so I'm wondering if that's that's what happened to me. I don't know. Yeah, if you're in the chat, thumbs up the video, man, so we get a better algorithm. Duh, come on, you guys know better. Jeez. And
what'd you do in the military?
I was a ABF, so I worked with fuels in the Navy. I was on the USS Constellation during Operation Iraqi Freedom. In fact, we were in the Gulf when George Bush declared war in Iraq. And so that was
like a hooray, we get to actually fucking do something?
No, it sucked, dude. I mean, so it was here. I joined the military right after 9/11 because I was like, oh, I'm gonna go fucking fight for my country, you know, like these fucking terrorists. I'm 38.
Okay.
And
yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, pushing 39. I was a baby. And so I joined the military, and I went to boot camp, and then I went to school, and then I hit the fleet, and I was on the USS Constellation, and we were supposed to do like a year-long world cruise to decommission the carrier. It was going to be its last run. And so we did like Hong Kong, Singapore. I'm all stoked because I'm like 18, and like I get to go all the way around the world and see like 30 countries, and it's going to be a blast. And we did Hong Kong, Singapore, transited the Straits, past Iran, and went into the Gulf, and then George Bush declared war, and we sat in the Gulf for like 6 months fighting this war. And we were like, if you remember the shock and awe campaign, like my battle group was the shock and awe campaign. We dropped like 100 million tons of ordnance on Baghdad, right? And that was what made me a libertarian.
So you just sat in the ocean bombing Baghdad?
That's exactly what it was. That's exactly what happened, dude. And so
what was your actual job on the boat?
I worked with fuels. I fueled and defueled jets and helicopters, and then I worked with Q&A stuff with the fuel, and I ended up below decks for a while working on pumps and monitoring equipment and stuff. And then when I got back, I was just like, what while I was there, I was like, what the fuck are we doing in Iraq? First of all, like, why are we even here?
Right.
I thought these were like Saudi nationals via Pakistan that attacked the trade centers, and so we were fighting in Iraq, and I was just, I started realizing I'm like, oh, Baghdad's like a fucking city, like New York City, you know what I mean? Like people live there. There's dreams and goals and aspirations and family pets and shit, and we're just bombing the shit out of them, and there's really no reason for it. And then we kept getting these, you're doing God's work. There's weapons of mass destruction there. He's killing his own people, and this and that and this and that, and that's not at all what was happening. So when I got back, I was just very, 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 very jaded on the military-industrial complex, and that's when I found Ron Paul. Was a couple years after that, and I never wanted to. I've been anti-empire, anti-military foreign intervention for years and years, and that's my number one issue. I think that's why I like Dave. That's why I'm a part of the Mises Caucus, is because that's the number one. That's the number one issue, and I think that ending the Fed and ending the empire are the two things that can save this country more than anything else. I don't, there's all these other fucking bullshit like distraction issues, constantly wedge issues, immigration, and trans bathrooms, and fucking this and that. It's like, no, dude, look, the empire and the Fed are the two things that are causing the most carnage and the most damage around the world for this country, and we need to stop it. And so that's why I appreciate people like you and Dave and everything. But we're at the end of this stream, man, and I just gave my whole life story. Why don't you tell these great people what you're up to next? What do you got coming up? Where they can support you, how they can find you, all that good stuff.
All right. The biggest thing I would say is please check out the Run Your Mouth podcast. That's where I really rant, try and work on my jokes. Robbie the Fire, all one word on YouTube. We're going video. I also put out a project called The Black Captain, which is with my friend Menuhin. It's a scripted audio podcast series. A lot of work went into it, and it's secretly libertarian. That is up for purchase. It took like 2 years to put together. It's a work of art. It's really, I promise you, if you listen to it, you'd be impressed. I wrote an entire movie, and my friend is like incredible audio engineer. It's really impressive. Part of the problem, and summer porch tour. So, if you're out in Nashville, that's going to be the last gig of this summer. I promise you, everyone should make the journey to at least one porch. And you can follow me on Twitter. Hit me up. I can get you the information. Robbie the Fire.
Yeah, man. Fuck, dude. Nashville, I think Nashville's only like 9 hours away from here to drive, man.
There you go, dude. You should be seeing one porch. You should be there for it.
I should. Maybe
we change lives, dude.
Maybe I can convince my fiance to let me just drive down there for the weekend or something.
Hell yeah, dude. Come to the forum. Come hang out.
Hell yeah, man. Well, Robbie, I appreciate you to death, man. I'm a big fan. I know all my viewers are big fans of you as well. If you just hold on 1 second, I will end this stream and we will start the exclusive stream for members only.
Do it.
All right, cool, man. Thank you so much again. I really appreciate you coming on. All right, guys. Another awesome episode of Break the Cycle. Robbie's so cool. He's hilarious. You guys should definitely go follow him. Definitely go support the man. Help him become an even bigger comic so he has to spend even more time writing 15 minutes worth of comedy, great guy. But anyways, make sure you check out our sponsors at lorenzati.coffee for all your delicious Italian coffee needs. delivered directly to your door. Bring the taste of Italy home. Use BTC at checkout for a 10% discount. Drywall thanks for the $20 super chat, man. I appreciate you. Toplobster.com, the man, the myth, the legend. Check him out for all your great graphic design needs, like this awesome Ron Paul for Congress shirt that I'm wearing tonight from 1974, but he made it look cool. It's new. Or you can join the Patreon, the Subscribe Star. Both of those are / Break the Cycle JS. You get all kinds of other cool swag. Or become a channel member here where you get all these great custom emojis that you see in the chat, plus all these cool badges that show how long you've been a member. That might be something cool for you if you're somebody who's always in the live chats with us. But you also get into a Discord server that will give you 2 weeks prior to being released to GP, you'll get Top Lobster gear, new designs, and he just dropped a lot of really cool stuff, like the Joe Biden adrenochrome baby onesie, which is pretty hilarious. You get it at a 30% discount, so really deep discount. Of course, executive producers of the show, anthemplanning.com, for all your emergency and crisis planning needs. Check them out today, see what they can do for your home life, business life, or personal life. Did I say that? I messed that up? Maybe I messed it up. I don't care. They're doing great work. They're doing a good job that the government sucks at, much more cheap and much more efficiently. Coming up on the show, the rest of this week is going to be awesome. Tomorrow we got Chrissy Mayer, hilarious comic. Yes, she's as funny as a man. We are going to have a good show with her tomorrow. On Wednesday, episode number 69, which everybody says I should have made Robbie the Fire, but it will be Perb Island. That's going to be a really cool show. We're going to talk entrepreneurship and economics. And of course, my good friend from the LNC on Thursday, Karen Ann Harlos, will be on for episode number 70. And Friday, the man himself, the president of the Mises Institute, Jeff Deist, will be on the show. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll see if I can keep up with him. He's a very smart guy, but we're definitely going to talk Southern California hardcore, because I know that man played in some hardcore bands, and so did I. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Guys, I appreciate you. Please sign up. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Help me kick that algorithm up so we can keep getting bigger and bigger, and all these great guests keep wanting to come on. I was lucky enough to just book for the first week of August Mark Pellegrino, who played Satan, Lucifer on Supernatural, and also Jacob on Lost. He also founded the Capitalist Party. So we're getting some really cool guests. I'm very excited. I will see you guys tomorrow for the show with Chrissy Mayer. Until then, don't forget to break the cycle.
Due to legal reasons, I just have to explain. The lyrics of my last song may seem to contain a violent call to action in the verse and refrain, but I just meant it in Minecraft. The helicopter part was in reference to GTA 5 and the things you do. So any violence you commit, I am not an excuse, because I just meant it in Minecraft. Well, Chipper is my friend and he's constantly cold. Accusations of incitement getting totally old. Make your own choices, yeah, you have control, because I just meant it in Minecraft. Obviously I would never advocate force, unless there's due process and a trial, of course. And if you're convicted, we will make you a corpse. In Minecraft, just in Minecraft. Nothing I mean, you know it. No product theaters cause they closed for COVID. Holy shit, I think I'm a poet. In Minecraft, in Minecraft.